everybody. This is Jeanette Graf, and welcome to Fab Skin Hot Bodies with my co-host, Joey Camasta, celebrity makeup artist, who is also doing a podcast called It's Happening, which is new, brand new.
That's right.
With Snooki and Joey, and he's doing it with Nicole Snooki Polisi.
That's right.
Who is, and you're filming it in L.A., right?
Well, it's a podcast, so the great thing about that is we can do it wherever we want.
Wherever you want.
Wherever we happen to be.
We're all going to have to do a podcast
That'd
together
be fun.
at some point.
That'd be fun.
But I wanna welcome our guest because there's not enough that I can say about her because she's just amazing. She's a pioneer in laser surgery, okay? I want you to know she built the world's first freestanding laser center. She established it in 1990. She also published the first textbook on laser surgery, cosmetic laser surgery, which has been published in 5 countries and probably more at this point, and has 5 additional textbooks, plus multiple publications, lectures. She's just an expert, all-around expert. She's currently a clinical professor at Georgetown University and Duke University. She has also received multiple awards. She is, if we talk about membership and legacy awards from the Women's Dermatologic Society, as well as prestigious Leon Goldman Memorial Award by the American Society for Laser Medicine and Surgery. And she is just a who's who in D.C., a mentor. She's one of my mentors. You are one of my mentors, and we are part of a sisterhood because us, it's a group of us women dermatologists who just support each other and love each other.
I heard they were called the Derm Divas. Is that true? I'm such an honor.
Sorry, but you cannot be a member of the Derm Divas.
No, I know, I can't, but I can be an admirer.
But let me say her name because her name is Dr. Tina Alster, Alster, and she is in Washington, D.C., and it's an honor to have you on this program. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Jeanette. I think that was a really long-winded introduction, and
it's only a fraction of what I could have said.
Can we sign off and do another one another time? No, it's really a pleasure to be here, Jeanette. I was pleased when you reached out to me to be a part of this, and also to meet Joey on this podcast, and to all of your listeners.
Well, I look to you, and my practice, I have some lasers, but I'm not laser-based. I do primarily injectables, but everyone comes in and asks about this laser or that laser, and this doctor has, Dr. Aaron has the cool laser, and it does all of this stuff, and, laser is magic. And so can you just break it down as simply as you can of the categories of light treatments?
Okay, so, just for everybody to know, lasers are not just developed yesterday. They've actually been around for over 5 decades. And the first medical use of lasers was in dermatology. So what you see is what you get. In fact, Leon Goldman, one of the awards that I actually received, was the first person to publish about the medical use of lasers, and he was a dermatologist in Ohio. In any case, to make a long story short, we write textbooks about this, so it's not something I can review in like 5 minutes, but we generally will break down the types of lasers into various categories. Everything from treating vascular lesions like dilated capillaries or even
spider veins,
like Mikhail Gorbachev, spider veins, the port wine stains and hemangiomas, which are these red marks of infancy. So that's one category, things that are red outside of tattoos. Things that are brown, so brown birthmarks, sunspots, or what people consider to be aging spots are really related to the sun. We have another category of lasers that treat tattoos, and that could be multiple different colored tattoos.
Yeah.
We have another category to treat hair. And then we have that other category, which is basically rejuvenation lasers, those that can treat a variety of wrinkles and laxity of the skin. And my personal favorite, outside of birthmarks, because that's how I got started with this, is on laser treatment of scars. And I've been doing that for close to 30 years now. So I can say that when people talk about laser surgery, what one laser can treat everything, well, there's not one laser that can treat everything, or else I wouldn't have over 20 lasers in my office.
Oh my God.
And like you, Jeanette, I actually, even though I have a laser center, half of what I do every day is not just laser, but it's injectables. So there are a number of things that even those of us who are known as being laser gurus that we do in conjunction with lasers and better optimize the clinical outcomes.
Absolutely, and it also brings me to the tightening treatments. And the tightening treatments are different. They're a radio frequency, and I, like you, believe that if you're going to tighten skin, you have to have volume. Otherwise, the tightening, unless you're very young, is not going to be satisfying. But can you talk a little bit about those?
Sure. Well, you already mentioned the fact that you can use a radio frequency for tightening. You can also use other energy-based sources like ultrasound, and there's a procedure called ultherapy.
Right.
There are now other non-surgical types of tightening or lifting procedures, including the Silhouette InstaLift. These are absorbable sutures with cones that not only lift the skin underneath and provide a non-surgical lift, but they also enhance new collagen formation in much the same way as fillers have been able to do. So I like you. I do agree that there isn't one treatment for everything. When people talk about tightening or lifting, you can use a device, whether it's radio frequency or ultrasonic energy or lifting sutures, but you also want to consider adding some volume, because we know that when people are younger, they have a little bit more volume in their skin.
I'll change that to a lot more volume.
Yeah, Jeanette was trying to explain to me the depth of how deep your research and your practice goes, and she was saying about a lot of common mistakes. People go tightening with the lasers, but then they don't actually go back in with fillers to kind of give the volume back to it, and that's why it's so important to kind of have a whole arsenal of techniques at your disposal.
Well, I do think it's important because, as we always say in medicine and many other disciplines, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you only have one laser, you're going to try to use it for everything, even if that's not the correct laser for the problem at hand. Similarly, if you don't have devices and you only have injectables, you're not going to really be able to improve the skin surface texture and color as much as you would if you had devices as well as the injectables. So it's very important to go to somebody who has a nice mixture of treatments available and also has some expertise with the use of those treatments.
Right.
Can we talk about some of the fat melting devices? Because, what's your favorite? Do you like heat? Do you like cold? What do you think of the current technologies out there?
I think just like anything else, when we talk about non-invasive body contouring, it's not just, a one type of treatment winner. I think that certainly cool sculpting has been around for a long time, and that's destroying fat cells through this cryolipolysis or freezing. But at the same time, that's for bulk reduction of fat. But, there are a number of other things, including heat with ultrasonic energy or some radio frequency that also help to remove fat. And there's even injectables that help to remove fat, like the Kybella, the deoxycholate. So again, I have a lot of body contouring devices, but I also have the injectables, and I mix and match those in the same way as I do the other equipment and injectables about which we just spoke. So again, I don't think that it's just one device or treatment that does it all.
This is something that people just don't understand. They go, what about laser? And they don't really know what they're asking about because there are so many different kinds of lasers. And if there's anybody who knows about laser, it's you. So can you just talk about laser for scarring? Because this is a real issue. So if somebody has acne scars on their back and they're hypertrophic or raised, can you address those with laser?
Sure. I mean, as you already have kind of alluded to, there are many different types of scars. We group them into different categories. There's a hypertrophic or keloid scars, which are red and raised, and they're oftentimes after injury, sometimes after acne, as you just pointed out, although most acne scars fall in a different category. They're atrophic or indented. There are certainly those types of scars that are only red. We call them erythematous, or other scars that are turned mainly brown, and those are pigmented. So many different types of scars, and depending on the type of scar that you have, you would choose a different laser system to treat them. So if somebody has a red or raised scar, and this is something I've been doing for close to 30 years now, I would use something called a pulsed dye laser. And this is a laser that hones in on blood vessels that make up the red portion of the scar, but by so doing, it also helps to flatten the scar and make it more pliable. So you can do that type of treatment for keloid keloid and hypertrophic scars. On the other hand, say somebody has acne scars that are indented or atrophic. There are a number of resurfacing lasers, everything from the fractionated or Fraxel lasers that you hear so much about, to even microneedling, which isn't even a laser at all. So again, all these different scars can be treated with more than one different type of treatment, and certainly you can mix and match the treatments in order to better optimize the clinical results.
Now, when you talk about microneedling, do you do any platelet-rich plasma? Do you have experience with that?
Yes, in fact, I did 3 cases of them today. I usually use the platelet-rich plasma, which involves the drawing of somebody's own blood and spinning it down, and then getting a portion of it in plasma, which is rich in platelets, which is why it's called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma, to inject in areas mostly not just for rejuvenation. I use it mostly for hair growth.
Exactly.
And so I do a number of these treatments in the scalp, in men and women who have maybe more diffuse hair loss, but not going shiny bald, maybe not good candidates for hair transplants. We do the robotic hair transplants here, but I can say that this is a nice way for them to not lose as much hair and then encourage new hair growth. We find that those treatments work very well for that.
Is that technology? Sorry, is that technology what we call on the street the vampire facial?
That's when they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, in many ways it is. I mean, sometimes people use the PRP not just as injections. They combine it with microneedling, and that would be the vampire facial.
That's big in Hollywood.
Yeah, and it makes for good Instagram fodder. In general, I tend to just do the injections. I think they work better than using a microneedling device and pouring blood all over the skin.
Sick.
But like I say, it does make for a very nice photo.
Oh, good.
I know, and it makes a nice story, but I love PRP, and I've actually had some really nice results. And the studies that have come out about PRP for hair growth, they're actually quite good. You know, the reason that we have platelets for our listeners is platelets are the part of our blood that contain most of the growth factors. So that's why when we put them in and microneedling alone is great because it's collagen induction therapy. So when you couple that with your own platelet-rich plasma, then you have a really great results.
Right. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. It's just a matter of how much mess you want. But I have to say that I use microneedling as a treatment every day. In fact, I think I probably did about at least 10 of those today. It tends to be a very busy time on Friday to get microneedling so that people can take the weekend if they even need that much time and be able to go back to work on Monday. So it's a very popular procedure before the weekend.
Tina she treats the elite of Washington.
Ooh,
so
fancy.
she travels in diplomatic circles.
Has Melania Trump come to your office yet?
I can't say.
She needs it.
Well, she just moved to town,
away from the White House. So I end up seeing virtually anybody that's anybody in Washington, whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
But you know something? She just moved to D.C. She's gorgeous. She needs to maintain being gorgeous. She has to see you, Tina.
Yeah. It's a smart thing to do.
I have to say that I think that there are so many really capable dermatologists and cosmetic practitioners that people have a wide range of people who are very well versed at taking care of people's skin. I think the first order of business, and you're a good example of this, Jeanette, is you want to go to somebody who looks good. If the person you're going to for improvement of your cosmetic appearance doesn't look good, him or herself, you certainly don't want to be treated by that person.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for that. And the other thing that's really important, as you said, is you have to go to someone who's not only capable, you have to look them up, you have to know who you're going to. You don't walk into anywhere and just have anybody work on your face. Just like there are so many med spas that have lasers now. You just don't walk into a med spa and have something done. I mean, I've seen so many bad results.
With a Groupon.
With a Groupon. Who would do that?
Right.
I would probably do it if I was drunk.
You would not do that, Joey. Not even if you were drunk. Well, maybe if you were drunk.
Well, it's regrettable because so many of these lasers, they're they're safe, but they're only safe if you know how to use them. And I think that there is a misconception that it's the laser doing the work rather than the operator of the laser that's doing the work. So people automatically assume that if there is a laser clinic or aesthetic service that is in a mall, for instance, that somehow just by its very existence it's safe to go to. There's really, in many states, no laws that prevent non-medical practitioners from practicing medicine without a license. And so people need to be aware of, state by state what is allowable and do a little bit of research. It really is so simple to look somebody up. You want to make sure that they are board certified in whatever discipline they're putting out on their shingle.
What are fake laser like if you're going to a bootleg laser place and they're like there's a light going on you but it's actually not doing anything and that you're still paying, is that common in the fake laser world, or is it more damaging because it's too strong and they're not doing it the right way?
I think it's more the latter than the former, because laser companies really aren't wed to only selling their product to people with advanced degrees and knowledge. So they will sell to anybody who has the money to buy the system. So oftentimes you find that there's very good devices just being ill-handled at many of these spas. And I hate to just even point the finger at spas. I mean, they can also be in various practitioners' offices. I think it's really important that people do some background check and make sure that the person who is actually performing the laser treatment has the goods and education to operate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to say this because I know a lot of people who do lasers and have laser practices are, they're boarded in internal medicine or pediatrics or gynecology, and they're using cosmetic lasers. That's an example of it. You want to go to somebody who's board certified in one of the aesthetic specialties. And even then, you have to look them up.
That's true. It is. It's hard, but it is easier than ever to look them up. I remember in the old days when I started doing laser treatment, people, unless they really went to the National Institute of Health and read Medline research papers, it made it much harder for them to know that we could treat scars and birthmarks with lasers. They would really have to be doing a lot of research on their own. These days, you could look it up on your phone and find out if somebody is board certified, make sure that person is well respected and published in the field, if that is makes a difference to you. And I think in the majority of people it should, because there are enough of us to go around. It's not just testimonials or people with really fancy websites that are doing good work. In fact, many times it's the opposite.
We're making you sound like you're old because I'm calling you a mentor, but you're not, and you're gorgeous. And if you saw her, you would not believe that she's the person that I described, because it looks stunning. But
you're very nice. I'm in the discipline, so again, if you're doing cosmetic dermatology,
you gotta look
don't
the part.
Look at it. Really, you do have to look the part. So the bar is constantly being raised, and I really is into self-preservation that I keep at this, because we really always want to kind of be treading water in terms of aging.
And we often use ourselves, before anybody else, so that we can describe to people what they're going to feel, what they're going to experience.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that we want the results.
Exactly. No, it really is important, I think, if you're going to be delivering these types of treatments, that you have some knowledge, not just education-wise, but also from a personal basis of having tried these, what they feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I have a question. When you're using a tightening treatment, so let's say you're doing one of the radio frequency treatments, which can take months to work, and that's what people have to know, because you're and you can just address for us, if you will, the mechanism by which they work. And is it better to do the fillers after you do the treatments? Do the treatments in any way affect the fillers? What is your opinion?
Well, actually about 10 years ago, I published a paper with a couple other practices looking at just this issue, finding out whether doing injections just prior to, say, radiofrequency, or in that case as well, we studied it with intense pulse light and a couple of different lasers, whether or not using these devices on top of fillers made a difference in terms of ultimate cosmetic benefit, or if it made the fillers go away. And what we found was that it did not disintegrate the fillers at all. In general practice, I end up doing a number of multi-combinations, meaning a number of different treatments on the same day. It's just a matter of doing things in the right order. In general, I tend to do the deeper treatments first. So I'll start with something that goes deeper, like say we talk about one of the tightening treatments. It could be radiofrequency, but it could also be the ultrasonic, the Alster. I would start with that, and then I would do my injectables of fillers and toxins, and then I would do, say, a fractionated laser on top with the microneedling. So you can do all of these things in the same day. You just want to do them in the correct order so that there is either no migration, or if you're worried about melting of product, you wouldn't do it, even though the research has shown that doesn't happen. So in general, though, many people, they've run into two camps, either that one camp that wants to do it all at the same time because they just want to do one recovery, or in another camp where people, either because of limited finances or because they're scared of doing more than one thing at one time, they may choose to do one thing first and then come back and do another thing in another month or two. So if it's more the latter, if somebody has never had these treatments before and just wants to do one at a time, I tend to try to start people on the things that I think will give them the most bang for the buck and with the longest outcome, the most permanent improvement. And you rightly point out that these tightening procedures, whether it's radiofrequency or with the old therapy, you may not see immediate response. You see maybe a little bit of tightening, but the majority of the significant change, which tends to be long-standing, if not permanent, takes at least 3 to 6 months to realize.
Oh my God.
So you may want to start with something like that, because whatever improvement you get from that one treatment will be with you. That becomes your new starting point. And so then you can add to that. So, I have another group of people say there's no way they're going to wait 3 to 6 months for the final result. In that case, then the injectables are a nice way to go.
I'd be calling the Better Business Bureau before then, saying I got ripped off because this does not work. I paid $5,000.
You get immediate gratification, you celebrity makeup person.
I know.
We always have to tell people to take a deep breath. What you want is a longevity. And so a lot of times I may mix and match because people do want an immediate effect, but they also want something that's going to last, which is why the mega combinations are very popular.
Sounds so good. You gave us such good information. I do have to say something personal. I was researching you before we got on the show. She was telling me so much about you, and I came across this amazing video on YouTube of you packing suitcases, and I was obsessed. We both travel so much, and I'm the worst. I learned so much from that video, and I try to implement a little bit every time I travel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, can you tell us about what I'm telling everyone about the packing?
I thought I was a good packer. I'm married to a commercial airline pilot until I saw your video.
Well, you know what? I have not checked a piece of luggage in my entire adult life, and I will not travel with anybody, including my husband and son, who will check a bag, because I refuse to, number one, worry about lost luggage.
Right.
Number two, I don't want anybody ruining my piece of luggage, because we all spend a lot of money on our beautiful suitcases. And number three, I don't want to wait at a carousel. Regrettably, I do not have a private plane, so I do fly commercial, and I refuse to be parted with my luggage.
You deserve a private plane, and I think that...
Well, I tell you what, we should all band together and get everybody that's on this podcast to kind of put it in for a private plane. But let me tell you, it is the most freeing thing. If you can be a really good editor and get it down so that you don't check luggage, it will free you up.
Give them a couple, just a couple, maybe 2 tricks that really help you get to that point. when you're packing?
Well, the thing is this. There is no such thing as a backup outfit. You need to know exactly what you're going to wear in the morning and the evening.
Right.
So there's no, like, backup, let's pack a Juicy Couture,
That's my problem. I'm like, well, what
a velour set. No, there is nothing like that. You need to know what you're wearing. Now, you can change the days that you're wearing them, but only pack what you know you're going to wear. That's number one. Number two, fortunately for me, my feet are relatively small. I don't have size 11 feet, so I can pack literally 6 to 7 pairs of shoes in my carry-on, as you can see. I think where I saved a lot of space is instead of using typical shoe bags, I save those nice plastic bags that everybody throws away that also come with the nice shoes. Those are the ones that I wrap my shoes in rather than those flannel bags, because they take up a lot of space. The other thing is, and of course as a dermatologist we always get lots of small samples, but if you don't have small samples of things with skin stuff in them, you can buy the little travel size. Don't pack big bottles of anything. Number one, they're not going to let you through with anything more than 3 ounces, and they take up a lot of room. So I pack all my skin stuff with small things, and I always have my travel makeup kit always ready to go, and it has my brushes, it has my pencils, it has everything that I need together. In fact, that's what I carry in my purse every day. All I do is switch it from my purse to my packing bag. So it's really it's easier than it sounds. But I can pack. I usually pack not just for me, but if I'm traveling with my family, as I did last week, I packed all of us for 10 days. Each of us had a roll-on and one carry-on, and we went on our plane. We went to Europe, and we didn't have to check bags.
That's fabulous. And so such time-saving and money-saving, too, with all this.
I don't check luggage, Tina. I also carry on luggage. And I was wowed by that video because, I learned after my honeymoon when I packed my entire closet and stored 2 suitcases at the hotel. But, I was with one of our colleagues one day, and I had my luggage. And my husband is a pilot, and he got me crew luggage, which weighs about 30 pounds empty. So,
wow.
Yeah, because it's steel encased. The outside has steel because they travel so much that it gets bounced around a lot. But I have the little Rimowa Salsa 23-inch, which fits
I love those. The Air Salsa. Since I did the video, I've now switched to that. One of the other Derm Divas turned me on to that, and I have to say that that's my go-to roll-on now.
Well, our Derm Diva friend told me, I'm going to change your life. And we were at one of the Vegas cosmetic meetings, and at the gate, we were on the same flight, I went on the website and just ordered that suitcase. It's 3.4 pounds empty.
Is that the one with the phone charger on it?
No.
Oh.
But also the handle is like a T-shape, so it really makes a difference.
Oh, with navigating it around.
Yeah, so I love that. But you're just a wealth of information, and you've been fantastic, and I really so appreciate you coming on today. We're going to have you again because you.
Oh, this was fun. Actually, this is the best interview I've had in a while. It was like hanging around, at a bar, except without a cocktail.
Yeah.
Well, Joey was talking about the fact that he just joined a gym in his building, and he. What do you do?
I
like tequila?
I make margaritas. So 'cause there's a pool there too, so I have to bring the party. So I make like a frozen margarita. And I put it in my bullet blender. And just bring it upstairs.
So he goes to the gym with a bullet blender and a frozen margarita and a splash, a whisper of stevia, right?
No, agave.
Agave. Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
It's okay.
Well, anyway, I want to thank you, and I want to just tell our viewers this is Dr. Tina Alster, one of the
Alster,
great dermatologist, laser genius, laser. She's written all the books on laser. And Tina, can you please give us your contact information of how people can look you up or reach you or reach out to you if they want to?
Sure. Well, absolutely. Of course, my practice has a website. It's www.skinlaser.com. I'm also, my practice is on Facebook. You can look me up under Dr. Tina Alster, certainly Instagram and Facebook and on the site. And my email comes straight to me, talster@skinlaser.com. How easy is that?
Perfect.
That's fantastic. So, Tina, I want to thank you so much again for providing great information from one of the great divas, My diva sister, Durham Divas.
Well, thank you again, Jeanette, for inviting me. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope everybody enjoys their weekend.
And I want to
All right.
thank everybody for tuning in to Fab Skin Hot Bodies with your host, that's me, Dr. Jeanette Graf, and my co-host, makeup artist, celebrity makeup artist, Joey Canasta, who also is on a new podcast called It's Happening
That's
with
right.
Snooki and Joey, or it's Nicole Snooki Polizzi.
Polizzi, yeah.
Polizzi.
Yeah.
So, Tina, I want to say goodbye to you, and I'll see
Okay.
you soon. I'll see you at a meeting
All right.
soon.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much,
Have a
Jeanette.
great-
Bye, Joey.
thank-
Bye, Jeanette.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
and live out loud.